Hello everyone, welcome along to the Rangers Rabble Women's Show. My name's Brian, the host tonight. I am joined again by Wilf, Carr and Laura. How are we, folks?
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, the mood's slightly low, as you can imagine. Of course, we're reacting to the game yesterday with Rangers 4, Partick Thistle 0. But more importantly, we lost out on goal difference, but the goal difference was quite significantly higher than we wanted. So it was obviously a big task for the ladies yesterday to get the title, because obviously they were either having to score a barrel load of goals or get a hand from Hibs. So it nearly happened. It was getting to the point where you thought it was going to happen, and then it didn't happen. So Rangers finished second on goal difference. So Wilf, kicking sort of the season as a whole, league season, how do you assess it?
Do you want me to be brutally honest?
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely chucked it away. We were in the box seat, we had it in our hand, and we blew it. We absolutely blew it. It's not, on the face of it, it was a fairly decent season. If, as we all hope, we lift the Scottish Cup on Saturday, make it a cup double, that on the face of it looks good. But as one of the players said yesterday, and I won't name her after the game, we'd swap both those medals for a championship, because it's all about the league what it's about. That's the bread and butter. We were in the box seat, and quite frankly, we blew it. I mean, we lost a game of Hearts that we should never have lost. We drew a game with Partick Thistle that we should never have drawn. Win either of the two of them, we've won the league handily. We should have won the league weeks ago. Because if we win either of them, we don't draw with that lot at Broadwood 2 weeks ago. We go beat them because they come out and have to attack us. And if they have to attack us, we'll beat them because we're a better team than them. That's the Galway thing. He's been the best team in the league by a country mile. And that's not what Blue Tinted specs are. We are the best team. We've got the best players by a country mile. And for the second year in a row, we've blown the league. And it's Rangers are about winning league titles. I mean, I know Joe said after the game yesterday that if they said to him when she came in, you'll get 2 cups and lose the league on goal difference, she'd have taken that. I'd like to think her attitude to that's changed now, because she's been at the club for a season and she knows that that's not good enough. She did also say that nobody's ever done the treble and it would be great to be first to do it. It would, but we'll have to win leagues. Leagues is what it's all about. I don't like to say it because it's tough to accept, but we absolutely threw that away. Gave it our best shot yesterday. We thought Hibs had done us a massive favour. It was so deflating for Celtic to score so late. Because obviously we were all at Broadwood just waiting for them to score, because they always score. And then when it was getting towards 90 minutes, we thought, well, maybe today's the day they're not going to score. And unfortunately, they scored.
Yeah, Laura, it's been a bit of a strange season. We build up such a significant lead and everything seems rosy, and then all of a sudden 2 results go against us, and all of a sudden it all changes. We're chasing, and it was just too little, too late in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, when you think you only lose 2 games and you've still got the league title at the end of the season, it's kind of hard to take. But as Wolf touched on, players are obviously the league title was the one they were wanting. Tess said in our post-match perfectly that Celtic never won it. We handed them it because we were in the driving seat for so long, and to not end up with it when we've only lost 2 games, and it was 2 games that we really shouldn't have lost. Even the game against them, we could have easily done a season unbeaten and had a treble, but for a couple of silly mistakes that were made, a couple of really poor results that shouldn't have been, because we're better in the games, we're better overall, but that's just the way things work out, and it's really difficult to take. But we pushed all the way, but we should really have two titles in the bag already and be going for our 3rd on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, Cards, it's never easy losing a league, but losing it in the manner that it happened, I think, makes the sort of not winning the league even worse, as Laura and Wolf have just said. We were ahead for so long, we had such a big lead, and then if you'd lost it by a point, you could say, right, okay, a point, but goal difference is galling, isn't it?
I mean, it feels worse than last year to me, and yet last year we came 3rd. So that's saying something. In fact, that we came 2nd on goal difference, and it feels worse than last year does. But purely because we were so far in front, we were 6 points ahead at one point. And that Hearts 1-0 game right before the split, that's where it all started to unravel. That's where things started to go wrong. And the game against them that we did end up losing, Kathy's out injured, and not having a centre-back that we could fully trust, Lisa having to come in and play 90 minutes when she hadn't played for, how many games before that she hadn't got any minutes. That's where it all just kind of fell apart. But it's obviously gutting. You don't ever want to lose, come second, but not to them. Glasgow City don't mind. They've been the forefront of women's football for however many decades at this point. So it didn't feel so bad when they won it, but the fact that they've done it just hurts all that much more. But, Jo's first season as manager, she changed everything about the club when she's come in. So I'm sure she probably didn't think that she would get this far, but it's just gutting the way that it ended. And as Will said and Laura said, we basically handed it to them because we didn't show up that Hearts game that we ended up losing. Pathetic goalkeeping mistake. It just couldn't put a shot anywhere other than the keeper's hands. It's essentially what cost us. And then not being able to break down a low block against Partick Thistle. It's just one of those things. So it's something that really needs to be addressed in the summer with recruitment. Really need to work on getting stronger. We need another centre back. I know that for a fact. We need probably another goal scorer, whether we bring Laura Berry back and use her because Rio's dipped in form. Kirsty's come back into form, but it's a little bit too late now at this point for her to come back into form. So, we really need to recruit strongly if we want to have a chance in Champions League. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but it'd be nice to get a little bit further than we did last time. And we really need to push on for the league at least, or a treble next season.
But just to pick up on Alan's point here, all we missed too many chances, only 4 players in double figures. Before we come on, I had a look at the final league standings. And we only lost 2, but so did they. And we both drew 4 and we both won 26. So the record's exactly the same. We both Rangers and Celtic lost 18 goals. It's the goal scored that killed us because they've scored 13 more than us. It's not like we'd scored about the same and they'd be better than the defence. The defences were exactly the same. It was 18 goals each we conceded. So it's a fact, as Alan says, we just don't score enough goals, miss far too many chances. We're not. But having said that, looking through the results back to just before the split, they haven't gone out and obliterated anybody. It's not like they've taken Partick Thistle apart at a game, or they've they put 5 past that. So that's probably as good as it's got for them after the split. So it's the fact that they've been scoring 4s and 5s and we've only been winning 1-0 or 2-1. That's really what's killed us. Which is to Alan's point that we haven't been clinical enough in front of goal. And as Carl says, we need to address that. We need to get a goal scorer in. Hopefully it is Laura Berry, because that means it's somebody that's already in the building, if you like. I know she's out on loan, but you get the point.
Laura, when Wolf speaks like that and the goal scoring sort of compared to Celtic, lack of goals, we've got Sarah Ewins, we've got Kirsty Howitt, we've got Rio Hardy, and we've got Jane Ross. Now, for me, there's not very many better 4 strikers out there. Maybe you could say Sarah struggled a wee bit. She hasn't had much game time, but certainly the other 3, finishing wise, there's not many better. So where does how do you assess that sort of front line now?
I don't think it's that they're all obviously individually really good at scoring, and like Sarah Ewins came in, had a couple of knocks. Then Kirsty Howitt got her injury, went out. So then it started to get really disjointed. And I think the biggest blow was that Annie got injured, and she was the one that was pulling the strings, pinging balls about, were in such good form when she was there, and she went out, and it took us a while to adjust to her being out of the team. And I think that's when the goals kind of started to fall away. And then Kirsty Howitt got injured, so then the kind of partnership with her and Rio Hardy was there, and Rio kind of struggled to adjust. She just got so used to Kirsty being there, and they had this telepathic, they knew where each other was, they were setting each other up, they were scoring. So it just became a bit disjointed, and that's when obviously Celtic have kind of overtaken probably in the goals once we've kind of lost Kirsty, and then we've obviously had injuries to Rachel McLaughlin at that. We've been really unlucky, I think, with injuries, and it kind of made the team disjointed, and they kind of had to adjust to that. But it should be said that they are able to adjust to. But I think more than the front line, it was when Kirsty McLean got injured, that was the biggest loss. And if she had probably been able to stay fit, we're probably sitting here in a much happier mood than sitting with a league title.
Is it? I'm trying to word this right. Is it too simplistic to say that Kirsty McLean went out? That's when it got sort of went downhill. I mean Rio's obviously went off the boil for a wee while now. It's very puzzling, isn't it, Car? Because it's just they got themselves in the position that they would have dreamt of, and then it just disintegrated, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a combination of all of the injuries and just kind of we seem to have a few at the same time, and I don't know if that and then Joel was kind of mixing it up a little bit in terms of who was playing. In the midfield till she figured out who the best combination was, saying, well, up front she changed it every so often. But I don't know, even, the start of the league campaign, we were battering, Montrose, Partick Thistle, Hearts. It wasn't coming from one or two strikers, it was coming from all over the pitch. I think at one point we had 7 different goal scorers in one game. I think Kirsty Howitt scored 2. So it's never been the case. It's always been the strikers that are scoring all the goals. They come from everywhere, and that just kind of slowed down. And even the game yesterday, we'll come on to it, but we missed so many chances yesterday that should have been goals. And we were just hitting them high and wide. And that's just the story of the season. Same against Tibbs midweek. It was just atrocious, the amount we were just putting in the goalie's hands and missing, and then we give away 2 cheap goals, and ultimately that's what it's come down to. So it's just, I don't know if they just thought that it was over, it was fine, we'll be fine, we'll figure it out, and then it just kind of slipped away from them, expecting that Celtic wouldn't pull ahead. I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those things that really needs to be addressed, and it's looking like we're going to have to almost go unbeaten, or at least draw games against them, and you have to batter every other team for you to win this league.
Yeah, totally agree. We'll go on to obviously yesterday's game. Wolf victorious in goals, Nick Docherty, Cathy Hill, and Tess Middack in the defence. We had Lizzie Arnott, Kirsty McLean, Chelsea Cornett, Mia McCauley, and Olivia McLaughlin in midfield. We then had Rio Hardy and Kirsty Howitt up front. So it seems again, Kirsty McLean making a sort of first start for a good while. Wolf, it was a good, for me, that's a really good 3 midfield that, Kirsty, Chelsea and Olivia.
Yeah, it's a great midfield. I mean, we could have done with Rachel Rowe, as Graham said in the comments. Rowe being injured, we'll lose a wee bit of creativity. But I mean, a start I picked up from the Women's Supporters Group podcast, because Alan's good. Alan's always good for a start. Is that we Innies, level top assists for us when she was out for 4 months. That just tells you how much we missed Kirsty McLean. Going back to the previous conversation, though, she was level on the assists, because assists now matter. In my day, assists were just give the boy the ball, the boy or girl the ball, but that was the way it goes, But I mean, that tells you how much we've missed her. But having her back starting was brilliant, especially the next week in mind. Having any backs is great, but it probably was the strongest team we could have had out, because obviously, I mean, Rory's got an injury. She says it's not too bad, but we'll wait and see how next week pans out. But again, touching on what Carl said, we missed a hatful of chances yesterday. But yesterday wasn't about scoring goals, because there's not a chance on earth we were turning the goal difference around. There's no way we were putting 20 goals past Partick Thistle. We just weren't. You know what I mean? Because they're too good a side for that. You know what I mean? And we're not a good enough side to do that. And it wouldn't be, to be honest, it wouldn't be good for the game anyway if we did do that. But it would have been nice. But we did a professional job. Yes, did what we had to do. Score some really, really good goals. I mean, I know we'll get to them one by one, but the last goal was just tremendous. I mean, Liv really, really wanted that. But yeah, we missed some chances, scored some goals. Story of the season, 4-0 winner on the face of it is great, but it could have been 8, it could have been 9. You know what I mean? But we'll have to settle for 4. I say they were decent goals, never really looked in any danger. I mean, I could probably have been in goal and would still have been a clean sheet, because, you know what I mean, they offered absolutely nothing, but there's nothing on the table for them. So,
yeah, very much so. A little comment here from Paul. I'll be interested to see how Joe puts Iniesta and Rowe together. Yeah, absolutely. That'll be quite mouth-watering next season to see that pair link up. And Laura, we'll go to the first goal. Kirsty Howitt on target again. Long ball from Tess through over the top of the defence. Kirsty controls it, and then a nice little neat finish into the far corner.
Yeah, I watched the goals back just before we came on, and the ball for Tess was absolutely beautiful. She couldn't have placed that any better if she tried. And you just kind of wish that had happened more often, because it was more Nick that's been doing the kind of balls, but Tess kind of played it with another position that she's been playing. But yeah, lovely ball over, and Kirsty, how that's her bread and butter. She's going to stick that away 9 times out of 10, and good for her to get a wee goal on her birthday, and then she ended up getting another one as well. So it was a good day for her for that aspect, but I'm sure she would have preferred to be celebrating harder afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Tess turned goal scorer. Corner came in. It was half sort of or poorly sort of cleared by the Partick defence, and really good volley from Tess into the far corner.
She just waits and waits until it's just at the perfect position for her, and she just volleys it in. Tess hasn't scored a lot of goals this season, but from what I remember, the ones she has scored have been beautiful, good goals from her. So, I'm sure she enjoyed that. Assist turn to goal scorer is always good for our players to get in and amongst it. So, it's just another great goal, and yesterday was full of good goals. But as I keep saying, we need to score more than we have, just to always be negative.
Yeah. And then a third one before half-time, Wolf. Lizzie Arnott providing a assist for Kirsty Hart again, getting her second of the afternoon. Don't quite know what the Partick defence were quite doing, but Kirsty Hart was all on her own and controlled it and then stuck it away.
There was a lot I said about the first goal. That's food and drink. That's food and drink to Kirsty Hart. You know what I mean? That's food and drink, the birthday cake, the cherry, the top of it, the whole lot for her. I mean, she'll score them all day. I mean, she'll score them all day, every day, because one thing she's a goal scorer. You know what I mean? Give her a chance within shooting range of the box, and she'll take it. You know what I mean? And 3-9, that was as nice. As I said, that was as nice and comfy. That was our job done. It's just a case of waiting to see what happened across town.
Yeah, definitely. And as Will said earlier, Laura, I think as all said, the last goal was a really good team goal. Build up from the left-hand side. I think Sarah, when you look at it, Sarah Ewens has got her back to goal. You think there's nothing quite on, and then she lays it off to Liv McLaughlin, who just powers it into the back of the net.
Yeah, Liv was absolutely screaming for the ball, and I think she was determined to score yesterday, because she had a couple of shots in the first half, and then she was kind of like beating herself up a bit as she was walking away, as if just really want to score. So she was screaming it. So Sarah had absolutely no option whatsoever than to pass the ball to her, and she struck it away lovely. And I think she was quite happy with herself. She was jumping into everybody's arms and celebrating like she just won the World Cup. But yeah, it's been such an asset to the team. She's came up for Aston Villa, and she's really taken on what it means to be a Rangers player, and she's just done absolutely tremendous. And I really hope that we can keep her next season, get her up for another loan, or if she's really enjoyed it as she seems to have, she might come up permanently. Who knows?
Car, would that be a really sort of dream signing?
I mean, one of them. I've got a few in mind that I would love, but obviously realistic. Well, Liv would be, number one priority. Get her back up the road for another season loan, or if she's not one of these players that demands a lot of money and we can afford to sign her on permanently, I'd absolutely love it, because her and Chelsea in the midfield, when Innie's been out, have been a powerhouse. It's just been incredible to watch them develop and adapt and play so well together. So if all three of them are together for the majority of next season, it would be an incredible, like, nobody'd get through the midfield. It would just, it'd be amazing. But we'll see what happens. But I'm hoping and praying that we manage to keep her and then get a few more up the road.
So, as Graham's suggesting, can we use Champions League money to get Liv?
But that's on the board to make that decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to do well in it first.
I know. Well, you think we're doing that way?
I also don't know how much money you get for the Champions League, for it, if it's actually going to be that. It depends. I think if you're hosting it, you get more, but we want it in holiday, so don't know if we're going to have that much money to kind of play a bit with the Champions League.
Yeah. John's got a question. Who do we see leaving? This is a big one, obviously, because I think it's well known that in women's football they don't get, 3 like the men's do. They don't get 2, 3, 4. Well, they may get 2, but you certainly don't get the 3, 4, 5 year deals like you do in the men's. So is there sort of rumours or sniffs that any of the girls are leaving?
there's not been anything that I've heard of anybody that's leaving. I'd like to think that's conversations that they'll have after next week, because obviously, the league season's done, but we'll get a massive game next Sunday. Because I mean, the kind of the murmur yesterday was, well, at least we'll win 2 cups, but I mean, it's not a given that we'll win on Sunday, given that one of our only 2 defeats this season was against next week's opposition. I mean, it's okay, it's a game we should have won, but that's football. You know what I mean? So hopefully we do that, and winning 2 cups and having Champions League, and okay, winning the league's what we're really here for. But if there's anybody on the verge of thinking, well, they'll maybe stay. I mean, for example, before she got injured, I'd have been surprised if he was here next season. However, she's just back from injury, and she's got a chance of playing Champions League. I think she might stick around. Just to sample Champions League, just to showcase how good she is, because that will get her a better move. That might get her a move to like a really, really big club, as opposed to a big club or a club in a kind of maybe a mid-table, English club. It might get a move to a big English club like a Chelsea. I'm not saying Chelsea, but something of that level, that's competing at the biggest level. So, because she'll never play for a bigger club than the one she's at now. But so I think that might tempt her to stay. The fact that we have got Champions League, because she's never done Champions League, and there might be other players in the same boat that were possibly thinking about going. It might also help us get back the likes of Liv. We were also speaking to Libby Banks yesterday. She's like, look, it's not my decision to make. It's the encouraging thing for me that we've heard from all the players is that they've said it's a great dressing room. The teammates are fantastic. Right now, they'll all have pals in football. So if anybody's getting sounded out, they'll speak to them and say, "What was it like at Rangers?" Great dressing room. That's what you need to hear, because you need that. Rather than, well, it's toxic, or they've got a few problems, few bad eggs in it. Every single one you speak to, whether they're a permanent player or a player on loan, they always reference how good the dressing room is. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win anything, but it's a good starting block.
Has that been the big difference, Laura, this season, that the harmony in the dressing room appears a lot better? I mean, I don't think it's any secret that there was a few issues towards the end of last season, and I think Joe's done a really good job in sort of getting everybody on side again. Getting everybody around, going in the same direction, pulling their weight, and everybody's enjoying playing for her, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think if anybody wasn't going to toe the line, Joe was going to have them straight at the door anyway. So it's kind of, this is my plan. You want to stay? Do you want to go? She got rid of the ones that had kind of caused maybe some issues last year, and then she said that everybody for day one bought in to it, and you can see that with the way they've obviously played for the majority of the season. Obviously not got the result that we wanted with the league, but they've gave her everything that they can, as much as they can. And as she said in some of her interviews and that you'll actually see what the team is like that she wants next season, because this was kind of a bedding in season. Them getting used to a new system, getting used to kind of being more versatile and playing in different positions at that. So it's already exciting. I think next season what's going to happen, I think she's already going to have contracts sorted that she'll have been in her wee black book of players and friends for England caps, no doubt. So we'll probably see a few new faces, quite a few departing, maybe a few surprises departing, and it'll be all steam, everybody on board next season, full steam ahead, and collecting more trophies next season.
One of those players that we're speaking about, Laura, and I'll come to you on this because it's obviously a player that's close to your heart, Laura Berry. She's been out on loan at Motherwell. She's done really well. She had a Player of the Year or Player of the Month award, recently. Was that a season? She obviously needed that season to get first team football, to play every week. Do you see her making any inroads in the first team at Rangers next season, or is that still a wee bit too early, or is it a case of she's good enough, just get her in the team?
I think the likes of Kirsty McLean and Mia Macaulay have shown if you're good enough, then Joe's going to trust in you. Even Ailey Austin, she's Joe wanted her around to kind of understand what it's like to be in the first team. So Laura Berry obviously had a few games, and then she's still, 15, 16 at that time. So obviously did need the experience, but she's went and absolutely smashed her loan at Motherwell. I think she's helped them get like 11 games unbeaten in a row. She's had Player of the Month awards and that, so she's definitely went out and showed what she can do. And whether Joe kind of wants her in there next season, I suppose it will depend if maybe Jane or a Sarah Ewan's leaving, we need that space kind of filled, or she might go back out on loan again because she is still fairly young. But I think she's good enough to start for us, or at least even be in the squad, kind of on the bench, coming on and making a difference. But again, we'll just need to wait and see. But if it was me, I would definitely have her in and amongst the team and getting used to being in that dressing room.
And we'll come to the chief executive of the Laura Berry Supporters Club, Carr. Do you see her making inroads in the first team next year?
I would have brought her back in December. We could have done with her, to be honest. She would have banged them in for fun and we might have won this league. No, I'm joking. I'm not actually joking. I do mean that. But she was obviously needing that time. She was away with Scotland under 19s and absolutely smashed it. With Motherwell, she just seemed to bed in that quickly and seemed to, get the service from their players and scored, I don't know how many goals it ended up being in the end, but she scored a fair few. There was a few games where she scored 2, scoring penalties for them, free kicks, open play goals, and that's that's what you need. You being so young as well. Mia's shown and Ailey's shown that they can't do it, but I think she needed that little bit of just confidence boost that she can go and do it in an SWPL team. So she, if she comes back to us, I don't think she'll go back out alone because she really is somebody that we could utilise. But it's whether she's willing to sit on the bench when she's had that taste of first team, playing every week. But I'm sure Joe will be able to, sell it to her. Come on, stay here and you'll win things, that kind of way. But for me, I'd absolutely keep her. I'd keep Kayla Jordan. I mean, I'd keep them all, to be honest. I've got a funny feeling Megan Bell might leave, which is just going to break my heart all over again because she went out on loan and it broke my heart. But I just don't know if she's in Joe's plans, which is just a bit gutting, to be honest. But then it's the same with the likes of Lisa and, kind of fringe players that we probably do need to move them on. We can't be sentimental. We have to build a really strong squad so there isn't this room for sentimentality. We need to just kind of move on now, really build a solid squad. And a few people will be a bit gutted that their favourite players are leaving, but that's just the way of the business at the moment. If we want to be successful, that's how we need to be.
Yeah, Wolf, it's an attitude I wish that the men's side would take on, that sentimentality doesn't come into it. But Carr makes some really good points. There's a possibility of Megan Bell not being here next season. There's Laura Berry and Kayla Jardine at Motherwell. There's Mason Hope at Hamilton, playing every game. So there's all these youngsters playing. It's obviously going to be a big decision for Joe in the summer to assess these young players and say, well, we'll see. She's going to have to make a big decision on all these players, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I mean, Graham says here, Mason got the Hamilton Player of the Year. I mean, to me, that definitely puts her in Joe's plans. I mean, the word I've heard on Mason is that she is going to be part of the plans for next season. I was told that by a family member of hers a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. He's maybe just, because he's related, he's maybe just kind of hoping because he's a Blues. Yeah. But I mean, that would be brilliant if that's in fact the case. But as Carl says, there is going to be sort of squad players, if you like, that haven't played a lot of minutes, probably getting let go because the younger players coming through can replace them in the squad without costing us any money, or maybe just an enhanced contract or whatever, and there'll be more value to us in the long run, because the way it's going to have to work is as the popularity and the standard of the game in Scotland increases, you're going to have to start, the fabled transfer model. We're going to have to start invoking that in the women's game as well. We can't keep losing players for nothing. I mean, we know it's all short-term contracts, but we need to start getting young players on 2 and 3 year contracts, and if they're leaving, make sure we get money for them so that we can replenish the squad with equally good players, because we want the game to flourish. We want the club to grow. I mean, I think most people seem to have missed it because it's not really been talked about since yesterday. But okay, we lost out the league on goal difference, right? But the defending champions were 9 points back and haven't got Champions League for the first time since European football became a thing for the women's football. Right? Now, Glasgow City depend on Champions League money, depend on European money to even exist as a model, because they don't have a club behind them. So I would imagine they're going to struggle next season, which means that to me, in my head, it follows that Rangers and Celtic are going to go further ahead of them. So it's going to get more and more like the men's game, where there is only 2 big teams in Scotland. And it isn't going to be the team that have traditionally been the big team, unless Glasgow City can find another way to, to fund it. So it's going to be even more crucial to get a decent squad, because as we said at the start, we've only lost 2 games and drawn 4. The season that we won the league, we only dropped 4 points all season. You know what I mean? So it's getting harder and harder to drop points and still be successful in this league, just because who's becoming our closest rivals are doing exactly the same. Now, hopefully the competition gets better, because I think Hearts and Hibs are planning going fully full-time next year. And hopefully other teams will follow behind them. That can only be good for the strength of the game as well. But at the moment, we're going to need to turn some of the young players round for cash if we can. So if we can get them in, like a Laura Berry, like a Mason, like a Kayla Jarden, if we can get them in, featuring in the first team, either get them established in the first team, which saves us having to buy players in to replace them, or move them on for a few quid to then replace them with better players. That's the way the model's going to have to work. So yeah, I think Jo's aware of that. I think she'll make that happen, but she needs the backing of the club to do it. And from what I've heard of Donald Gillies and what he kind of seems to say to people around the place, if he's as good as his word, I think that is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, 11 or 12 goals. I'm looking at our stats, and I can't quite decide which one's the goals and which is the assists. But 11 or 12 goals for Motherwell. So in a 6 month or 5 month spell at Motherwell, that's a decent return, isn't it?
It really is, and that's what she offers us. You saw it in kind of glimpses. Obviously there was the cup final last year that unfortunately she was offside for her goal, but you could see the run that she made in and the way she took the ball on. She was just no fear. So that seems to be what she's been doing, this last wee while with Motherwell. Yeah, I've watched a few of the highlights in a couple of the games live, and her movement is incredible for such a young player. You see, she's got that instinct, that kind of Jane Ross instinct, that she knows where to be. So if we can just get her in, provide her with that service, whether it be Kirsty Howitt beside her or Rio or whoever, Rachel Rowe pinging balls up to Test Neck, whoever it'll be, she'll get goals for us. So it's absolutely somebody that should be in and around the team next season, just to give us that little bit. If Rio dips, if Kirsty has an injury, if somebody, you've got a proven goal scorer there on the bench that can come off and absolutely do the business for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Brian, just to answer Paul's question.
Yeah.
No, Alan's answered it there as well. Paul, we signed a 5-year deal with Broadwood 2 years ago. It's 3 years we've been at Broadwood now?
2 years.
2 years. We've been at Broadwood, so another 3 years to go. We signed a 5-year deal at Broadwood, so we're there for the foreseeable future.
Very much so. So, well, it's a cup final day Sunday. Rangers versus Hearts. As usual, it'll be an interesting household for you that night. One will be happy, one won't be happy. I'm thinking with the players that are coming back from injury that, Rachel and Kirsty and, all that sort of, when you throw that into the mix, I'm kind of hoping and thinking that with the big pitch at hand as well, we'll probably have a little bit too much for Hearts. Would that be a fair assessment?
That would be my thinking of it. I mean, I would expect us to win and win quite comfortably. However, as I say, one of our 2 defeats this season has been the Hearts. And yeah, I know it was on a tight pitch at the Orient when we did everything but score. But if we go into it with the right mindset, I mean, remember, not only have we got to lift ourselves, those players have got to lift themselves as well, because they were absolutely devastated yesterday. Because it was so near but so far, as the title of the pod says, it really was. Because we all went into yesterday thinking, well, it's over, it's done, and then we were minutes away from it not being done, minutes away from the taxi coming our way. But yeah, I think we should beat Hearts quite handily. But putting my non-Rangers fan hat on for a minute, I thought about this earlier on today when I was driving to Inverness. It would be very, very nice to absolutely smash them, but wouldn't do the profile of the game much good. A cup final, when the winning team wins by more than a handful, wouldn't look good on national television in front of people that you try to entice to watch the game. So ideally, you want a fairly competitive game that will win quite handily, a couple of goals early. Then maybe another couple in the second half to make it a comfortable win, but nothing ridiculous. Having said that, if we score 10, I'd be quite happy.
Absolutely. Laura, how do you see the game going on Sunday?
Yeah, well, as well said, they are one of the teams that has beat us this season, but I think you look at Hearts' recent results, they're already on the beach. So whether they come back for the cup final or no, we'll find out on Sunday. But I think the players will kind of want to get that second cup at least to kind of make it a better season than it would be if obviously we'll got one cup. But as long as it doesn't, what happens last season doesn't happen, and they're that they're kind of deflated after losing out in the league on the last day, and then we also lost it in the Scottish Cup, but that was against Celtic, so that's probably why. But no, I think we'll be all right. Score a couple of goals, and as well says, he didn't want to make the game look bad, but if we get a good few goals, then that'll do.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one for the players' card, isn't it? Because as Laura and Wolf have just said, they came so close in the league by goal difference, and they're having to put all that behind them and build themselves up for a Scottish Cup final. But there's no better way to sort of, finish the season off by winning the Scottish Cup.
I don't think it'll take much for them to get up for it, to be honest. I'd imagine they're all pretty raging at the moment. They were gutted yesterday, and I'd imagine it's turned to anger at this point. Now they just want to get back out there and go and win another trophy for Rangers, for all that Joe and Jay have built so far this season, all the players that have put basically everything into this season. So I'd imagine, and we need to build for next season Champions League and everything. We need to build for that. So I want pure ruthlessness. I don't care about this sentimentality. Oh, it's bad for the league. Go out and absolutely batter them. Go and score 8-9 goals against them and show that we can do that. So that gets the confidence up for next season. Because it doesn't look great for the league, but Hearts have got to the final for a reason. So go and give it your best shot, and we'll do what we can do. And if that happens, that happens. I don't want them to take their foot off the brake because we're 5-0 up at half time. That's rubbish. No thanks.
Senior going with that attitude, then what's the score going to be? And a first goal scorer, Carr.
4-0, me and Macaulay.
Good. Anybody else in the comments wants to put your first goal scorer and predicted score for Sunday, please do so, and we'll put them up. Wolf, you're always some Rangers something, other team nil. So I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Well, I actually got yesterday right because I was accosted by PLZ's sport soccer outside the stadium, and they put a little clip of it out on Twitter. The bit they didn't put was my predicted score, which I said would be 4-0 yesterday. So I'm taking that. Nobody can see it. They don't know. Well, I said that, but that is actually what I said. But no, I'm going to go for. I think Paul's got the score right. I think I'm going to go for 5-0, and first goal scorer is going to be Nicola Docherty.
Oh, that'd be
She's
great odds.
This season, so that would be quite nice.
That'd be a great odds bet. That the correct result on the first goal scorer. That'd be some bet. Laura?
3-0, and I think Rio will get back to goal scoring form. I think she'll score the first goal.
Well, I'm going to go. I'll go 3-0 as well with you, Laura. I don't think we'll run right over them. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'll say Kirsty Howard first goal. So 3-0 Kirsty Howard. I think I'm with John on that one, so I'll go with that one. Wolf, you put up this comment.
If I can just bring Keith's comment up again, because I thought about this today as well. I'm doing a lot of thinking today because there's a long way to Inverness. The goalkeeper situation, Vicky Pearce are taking over as number one, which we've all said. It's widely rumoured that she's leaving at the end of the season, which we also believe is probably going to be happening. Who gets the gloves on Sunday? As Vic was the cup keeper, or we thought she was the cup keeper. Now she seems to be the keeper. So, Laura, I think you said on your other podcast that you expected to be Vic in goal on Sunday. Do you think it will be, or has Jenna reverted to being the cup keeper?
No, I think Vic's still the cup keeper, so she keeps her space. And I think it would be weird to bring Jen out the cold when she's not played the last, what is it, the 4 or 5 games?
Yeah.
So you're not going to bring her out the cold. Well, you know what she's like when she's not been out the cold, so you're not going to bring her out the cold now. So no, Vic's going to be goals.
No, I agree.
Keith is 5-1 Kirsty Howard. 6. Paul's going 6, so he's going even higher than some of us. So if it is a cup double, Wolf, how do we assess the league? How do we assess the campaign? Sorry.
Disappointing because you didn't win the league. Simple
as that.
Simple as that. Disappointing. Rangers are about winning league titles. Cups are nice. Cups are nice. Getting two in the season is nice because the last time we won the league, we didn't win a cup. And the last time we won a cup, we only won one of them. So yeah, nice to win 2 cups. Great to be in the Champions League. Gutted that we didn't win the league. I mean, we're 32 games that we go to every week. And when the girls go to more than we do, but I mean, that's what it's about. The bread and butter is the 32 league games. Everything else is a bonus. It's a bonus that you want. As a manager pointed out, nobody's ever won the treble in the women's game. Hopefully we address that next season because we're good enough to do that. We certainly should have done it this season. But no, without winning the league, disappointing season for me.
Laura, would you go along with that, or have you got a different sort of thought?
I'll try and be a bit more positive. Disappointing to lose out in the league, obviously, but I think you need to put it in perspective. Jo's came in, her first managerial job. She's going to have hopefully 2 trophies. She's got us back into Champions League after we missed out on it last season. So I think last season we slipped for first, basically to third, and we lost the league and the Champions League spot. So she's came in, done really well. She's building a team that's going to last us, I think, for a good few years with the young team, with the young players and that she's bringing through. So I think there's definitely a bigger picture to look at. Donald's come in. He seems to have a really good vision of what he wants for the club. On the women's side anyway, and I think the two of them are going to work together. They're going to push the game on as a whole and within the club. So no, I think there's lots of positives to take, as much as it is disappointing to lose the league, but I think there's definitely positives that we need to look at and push on next season. We've got 2 trophies this season, we go for 3 next season, and we're gradually getting better and better.
Fair assessment, very, very fair assessment, Laura. So are you in the team Laura or are you in the team Rolf Carr?
I'm more team Laura. Last year we won the cup and then we thought we were on our way. We're going to win them all because we'd won, the league prior the year before. And then obviously it was disappointing. We only won the one and then we came third. So we've definitely built upon that. And what Jo and Jay have done since coming into the club, and then Donald, who's joined them, has just kind of completely turned everything on its head. When you think back to having Malky in the dugout and you complaining every week about the subs and everything, you think back on that and how she's kind of revolutionised everything this season. It really is incredible what she's done. To be 3 minutes away essentially from a treble is just incredible, really. And as gutting as it is, because we absolutely should have gone and won that. If not unbeaten, we should have won the league. So it's gutting in that sense. But to be this close to, we've never won the Scottish Cup as a women's team. We've never won it. And we've never won 2 cups. So, we're making history. As rubbish as the history is because it's not the treble, we're still making history. And this squad has definitely improved massively. And the attitude from last season with a lot of the players, speaking to Nick and that after the game, saying this will not happen again. We don't want to feel like this again. So they're definitely going to be a massive shift next season, in the sense that they have to absolutely go out and smash every game that they go into. So, ultimately it's disappointing, but at the end of the day, they've done a massive job this season. And I'm not going to call it failure because it's not, but it's not enough for me.
Brian, before I ask you the question, I agree with everything that they've just said, and also Alan's put it a lot better than I tried to. That there is a lot of positives, but ultimately we're about winning leagues and we didn't win the league, so that's why I'm so down on. Because you asked me if the season was a success. There's loads and loads of building blocks. The only way is up, as Yaz in the Plastic Population once said. That's well before your time, Carl. Just look it up. Look it up.
All right, okay.
But yeah, there's definitely signs. Positive signs going forward. We've done really well. It's really, really galling to not win the league because especially because see if we'd gone through from 7 or 8 points back with a wet sail and just lost out in the last day, I'd be far more positive about how good the season was. But the fact that we won the box seat and threw it away, that's just that's galling. But I know there's extenuating circumstances for it. But I mean, like Alan says it absolutely perfectly. There's lots of positives. Lots of excitement for next season. I want next season to start tomorrow. I really do. Because, listen to Jo after the game yesterday. She gave away stuff that she shouldn't give away to a certain other podcast. If you want to hear it, listen to their podcast and you'll hear what Jo said about that. Things that she said she probably shouldn't have said. So don't listen to it because you're not supposed to hear it. So yeah, there is positives, but it is Galling we didn't win the league. So what is your assessment of the season up to now?
I think it's probably a mix of both. It's a mix of disappointment. It's a mix of being quite pleased with the season. I think the manager Joe's done a really good job in rejuvenating the squad and getting everybody on side and getting them all on the same page. But as always you've said, winning leagues is what we're all about, and we haven't done it. So in that sense, it's you could put a mark down for that. But when it's our first job and our first crack at a job, to get 2 cups, possibly 2 cups in our first season, and only losing it in the league by a goal difference is yeah. I mean, I wouldn't accept it at the start of the season, but when you look back at it in the cold light of the day, it's not a terrible situation to be in. I think her comments after the game are quite good in the sense that she's obviously geared up and ready for next season. She doesn't want to feel like this. And I think the players spoke to all you guys at the weekend and said exactly the same thing. They don't want to feel like this. So we've got all the young players, we've got all these youth coming through. There's all that to be excited about. We've got regularly players getting called up to the national team, as who was it? Paul said earlier. So there's all that as well. And as we can say, the only way is up because we were second. So there's only one way to go now, and that's up to the top. So and as we've all said, we've played the best football this season. We just haven't. Well, as the league table shows, we just didn't score enough goals. So that's the bit that you've got to look at, isn't it?
And as Paul says, that's another positive. I mean, how often do you get a player and a manager of the season awards to a team that doesn't win the title?
Mm-hmm.
That just tells you how good the season we've had.
Correct. So, although, as I say, we didn't win the league, there's a lot to be positive about. There's things obviously going to be done behind the scenes that we don't know about. There'll be players getting signed on contracts, players leaving, but it's, as Carr said earlier, it's part and parcel of moving on and going on to bigger and better things. So if any of you are still wondering, the game is obviously on Sunday, so get yourselves, I think the SFA website are selling the tickets. Is that correct, guys? So it's they'll still be selling tickets up till kickoff, I would imagine. So get yourselves along and enjoy, because I would imagine hopefully the weather's going to be really nice as well, so it'll be a great day. But we'll cross our fingers and our toes and everything for Sunday that Rangers get a cup double. And my thanks to Wolf. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Indeed, you will, Brian, on the main Rabble pod. I've got the dubious pleasure of hosting it tonight. I'll see Brian again on that. So happy days.
Absolutely. And Laura, thank you very much.
Thanks as always, Brian.
Yes. And Carr,
I'll see you in 10 minutes too, because I'll be watching it.
Excellent. So
you want to host it?
No, I'm alright. I don't want to talk about the men's team, thanks.
Neither do I. Like the Lily.
No. But thanks again, everybody in the comments watching. It's been a new one for us, obviously starting just before the men's pod. So just try to get some more viewers in. So like and share and tell everybody about it, and we'll hopefully get the numbers up. But as I say, thanks to the guys, thanks to you.
Right, don't forget next Monday night, 6:30, cup final winning special.
Hopefully a cup double winning special we'll be doing next Monday at 6:30. So we'll see you then, and have a great week.
If we do win it, Laura's mission is to make sure it's sitting behind her next Monday.
Easy.
Mission impossible. But my thanks again, and we'll see you next Monday.